Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to CFL Central, CFL content for the fans, by the fans, and we have our review here of the preseason week 2 of CFL action. So we had 4 games, and you went kind of 50-50 on your predictions. I did the absolute drizzling shit. I went 1 for 3.
That's what happens when we predict on rookies.
Yeah, no, exactly. It really
we don't bet the house.
It is that unpredictable. Starting with the first game of the week, which was the Ottawa Redblacks defeating the Hamilton Tiger-Cats by a score of 31-22. I'm gonna ask the Ticat fan, how you feeling?
Yo, I can understand why you guys let go of Boudreaux.
Yeah,
it's like I understand they're playing rookies and they're swapping rookies in and out, but come on, they're our big thing, and I'm going to piggyback off of you last year, is penalties.
Yep.
Penalties.
I think I said that about Hamilton specifically last year. Was that...
No, but you also said it about Winnipeg, too.
Oh, yeah. No, well, no. I said that last week about the Bombers, but I thought I said that even last year when we played the games against you guys, where I said that, this game wasn't that close, but it would have been a lot closer if Hamilton wasn't taking a penalty every third down.
We had 5 penalties in the first half on special teams alone.
That's not good.
We had 124 or 135 yards worth of penalties. That's a full football field.
Yeah. Excuse my R2-D2 sound. I don't know if that went through. It's from my phone notification. Continue.
So Drew Brown, Albany went 4 for 6 for 26 yards. A small sample size.
I see. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised I didn't play him a little bit more than that, but
however, Cookie Crumble is going to be the second quarterback in Ottawa.
Yep.
He went 10 for 16 for 108 yards and 1 touchdown.
Yep.
I mean, they have 1, 2, 3 running backs. No one for sure knows who's starting for them.
Yeah. It was big them having we got to see Dedman back in Ottawa. He had gotten a punt return touchdown in the first quarter of that game.
Don't remind me.
Well, I mean, if you're a Redblacks fan, so correct me if I'm wrong. I believe he won Rookie of the Year, not last year, but the year before that, for the CFL. Look for an NFL opportunity. Now coming kind of back to the CFL to kind of find his footing again. So he would do well, and so yeah. And then Michael Damagala would make the point after touchdown, and that was a good play.
So then I will quickly switch over to our side.
Yep.
Bo Levi Mitchell went 10 for 16 for 139 yards and 1 touchdown. Not worried whatsoever. Powell could have done a lot better.
So here's the question: with Bo Levi Mitchell's for those 6 that were incomplete, did you find that those were more on Bo Levi Mitchell's throws being a little off, maybe the pocket collapsing a little big, was receivers not really running the routes properly? What did you notice for those? Because that's important with a guy like Bo Levi Mitchell, who is kind of he's a defined starter when he's playing his game, but there's being questions about it, so it's important to ask.
Those are more of rookies playing their first ever CFL game and not catching the ball.
Okay, so were there even just some that almost just hit him in the hands and just they didn't get it?
No, okay, so Seymour Bridges, he's a 6'5", 6'6" receiver. He's going to be making the team. There was a time where he had the ball wide open, no one in front of him, ready to go for a touchdown, and the guy drops the ball.
I see. Okay, just because I was going to say, from what I remember when I did play football, essentially what our receivers coach said to our receivers on our team was, if it hits you in the hand, you should have caught it. If you're able to get even a single hand on it, if you're able to touch that ball with your hand, there's no excuse for not catching it. So it's one of those things where if that's the case, then I guess all you can really hope for is a guy like Bo Levi Mitchell who at least may be making those passes targeted properly. But overall, is there anything else that we got for this game?
I will say two things. Mark Legio went 3 for 3.
Yes, I saw that.
And I'm going to end this on a big note. our lovely Ticat fans made a huge signing yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Because not only does Mr. I forget his name now. Menard, can he play defensive end, defensive tackle, but Scott Milanovic even said they might even try him at linebacker.
Oh.
So it makes the defense even more, and he's ratio flexibility too.
Yeah, no, that's good, being able to kind of have him on different spots in the field, especially if it's one of those things where, especially if he's not necessarily a defined starter, if any guy goes down, having him be able to fill that gap, I think is really important for Hamilton. But overall, Ottawa Red Blacks, 31-22 victory in the preseason over the Hamilton Ticats. So that would then put us into our next game of the week, which was Calgary having its way with the BC Lions. Stampeders win 30-6 over BC. Just 2 field goals for BC, so no touchdowns. They were grounded for the Lions. And overall, I say a decent game, but there's really not much you can complain about if you're Calgary here. Because you'd have Matthew Schultz play the majority of this game. He'd go 11 for 15, so pretty decent for Matthew Schultz. Brian Treese go 4 for 6, and Bonner 2 for 2 for the Calgary Stampeders here. And then they did one thing I noticed that the Stampeders did a really good job here was really kind of sharing the ball a bit, in the sense of not going to the same guys over and over again. So you didn't get any receivers with 100, even 50 yards, just a bunch of guys, like for example, you had, I think that's Mitchell, yeah, who 3 receptions, 48 yards, 1 touchdown, 25 yards on 2 receptions for Odom's Dukes, and then 22 yards on 3 receptions for Reggie Beggleton. And that kind of keeps just going down the list. So it's one of those things where they kept throwing a bunch of different receivers, getting a bit of yards here and there. Nothing really that massive, but that's okay. It's one of those things. It's a preseason. This is the time to do that. And then even Schultz would have 1 rush and he'd get 25 yards out of that. So pretty good quarterback rush there for Matthew Schultz.
I mean, me personally, just looking at everything. So BJ Edmonds had 2 rushing touchdowns off of 39 yards.
Yep.
I mean, Jake Mayer 7 for 12 for 98 yards. That does not scream scary to me.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they started mostly veterans, but nothing on this team.
That's fair.
Like, I mean, other than those 3 touchdowns, it was basically a kicking game.
Yep. Yeah.
And then Chase Bruce for the BC side. Chase Bruce,
Bryce?
I don't know.
There's no year.
Yeah, Bryce, sorry, yeah.
There's
He
no
went
year.
10 for 16
yeah.
for 128 yards. And then Dakota Prukop, who we found out earlier today got cut, he only went 4 for 9 for 56 yards.
And I'm going to be honest, I think this is a mistake by the BC Lions, in the sense of I don't think this. I think the problem was that BC, a lot of them will see him go 4 for 9 and be like, okay, like, what's he doing? Like, why is he not able to connect there? And that's because that's not the kind of quarterback he is. He's the kind of quarterback, he's never going to have a starting position anywhere, but he's the kind of quarterback that you keep in the short yardage, but he'll get you that yard. He'll get you that 2 yards, sometimes 3 yards every time. Seriously, I think that's a very, very big missed opportunity for the BC Lions. The only reason why I was okay with the Bombers getting rid of him was because the replacement was Chris effing Strevler. And so it was one of those things where, if I'm a team in the CFL looking for a short yardage quarterback, I think a guy like Dakota Prukop is exactly who you want. Like, I think if you're the Toronto Argonauts and you're not necessarily confident that Cameron Dukes is going to be able to get you that 10 yards and get you that first down every time, but he might be able to get you close on some occasions, I think a guy like Dakota Prukop filling in that role would be good. And I believe he spent time with the Argonauts before. So I just think that's a big missed opportunity there. If you look at the 2 rushes that Dakota Prukop had, 2 rushes got 9 yards out of that. Almost positive that he did some stuff on your short yardage, at least for one of those plays. But it is what it is. And when it comes to the receiving, they were pretty much on the same route as the Stampeders, in the sense of only one guy cracking 50 yards, but just kind of sharing the ball around and being able to kind of see exactly what they got.
The one thing that I want to mention before we move on to the next game.
Yep.
Jake Dolagala.
Yep.
1 for 7, 8 yards.
Ouch.
And that's supposed to be your backup quarterback.
Yeah, that and that's the thing. It's one of those things where Jake Dolegala, like he's absolutely better than that, but it's not a good look. Not what you're looking for.
If I was BC, I would cut Jake Dolegala, keep Dakota Prukop as your third, Chase Bryce as your backup, and Vernon Adams as your starter.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
But I mean, that's me. I don't get paid for the big bucks.
It is what it is. But we'll get into our next game of the week, which was the Saskatchewan Roughriders defeating the Edmonton Elks. I said this would be. I think I was the one who said this would be the closest game of the week because I noticed that Saskatchewan was putting out a decent lineup, and it was just 1 point off. Riders defeat the Elks by a score of 28-27, and it's funny because I had made an interesting statement last game where I said that Dean Faithful was better than Boris Beatty. And it's funny. I don't know if necessarily that was proven. However, man, they made them kick quite a bit. You got 2 field goals for Boris Beatty. That would both be over 40 yards. If you're looking at Dean Faithful, he had made a 20, missed a 42-yard field goal. But they would get the single on that. But then hits a 40 and a 48-yard field goal, Dean Faithful, later that game. So it's one of those things where, unlike most preseason games where they got at least one kicker playing the whole game, even if it is the backup kicker, very much kind of switching it up on the back end. And then they actually even had Dean Faithful attempt a 57-yard field goal. They tried going over half the field. He would miss it, although, you know what? Credit to him. He was able to get the single. So he had enough force behind it to get it that far. Just wasn't able to get it between the uprights, although that would have been an absolutely incredible field goal if they're able to pull it off. And I mean, like, if I'm looking here, there's I'm looking here at there's a few touchdowns here and there, but it's mostly just kicks. One thing I will say, the score app, Sportsnet, can you please make the Edmonton Elks colors yellow when they're playing the Saskatchewan Roughriders? It's just green. Like, it's hard to tell which one's which.
So I will say,
yep,
for all those Elk fans out there, when McLeod Bethel Thompson goes 17 for 25 and 190 yards, I would not be worried.
Yeah, no. Although I will say, Trey Ford, 12 for 14. It's...
No, but what
Dude's
I'm saying
not
is,
giving up that starting position without a fight.
No, but I mean, even at the same time, like, if you have all your starters in there, McLeod Bethel Thompson's going to hit at least 225 yards.
Nope, that's true.
Mind you, Javon Leake did give up a turnover that turned into a touchdown for Saskatchewan.
Yep. Now, I'm trying to remember who the player was. I can't remember exactly who it was. There was someone on Edmonton. It was one of their receivers, I believe. It was either one of the receivers or it was Bethel Thompson or Trey Ford. I can't remember who it was. Someone on Edmonton had made the comment that he believed that the Edmonton Elks had the best receiving core in the entire CFL. Now, I will say, I don't know if that's true. However, the Edmonton Elks certainly give it a run for its money. They would do very, very well here. Cobb would get 90 yards on 6 receptions. Eugene Lewis would go 63 yards on 6 receptions. 62 yards for Kyron Moore on 5 receptions. And then you keep working down the list, and overall it was a pretty decent game. Gittins Jr. would also get on the board. He would go 25 on 3 receptions. And overall, a pretty good game on the receiving side of things. Not really much you can complain about in that regard. But although I don't know why, it's not showing me the rushing stats here.
So just FYI.
Yep.
That app, everything that you just said was incorrect.
What?
Because Gittins Jr. went 2 for 3 for 22 yards. Moore went 2 for 6 for 30 yards.
Are you getting this from the CFL website?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so then I know that the score is
Eugene,
full of crap.
I mean, it's preseason. Eugene Lewis went 5 for 7 for 62. Cobb went 6 for 6 for 63. And Hergy Mayala went 6 for 6 for 90.
I see.
Now, Trey Ford had 2 carries for 20 yards rushing. Javon Leake had 2 carries for 16 yards rushing. And Kevin Brown came in third for 2 carries for 8 yards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Elks defense had 4 sacks, by the way.
Elks defense had 4 sacks. Not bad. Yeah, no.
Going over to the Saskatchewan side, Shea Patterson had 5 for 8 for 80 yards passing.
Yep, I have that. Yeah.
Mason Fine went 9 for 11 for 75 yards and a touchdown.
Yep. And
Clint Ratkovich and Frankie Hickson both had 27 yards rushing.
Not bad. And then overall, I have Lawther went 2 for 4 on field goal attempts. Is that correct?
You got that 2 for 4. His longest was 47.
Yep.
3 extra points and a single.
So overall, pretty decent. The I will say, I'm just trying to find it, just because I was having the issue with the thing. So keep going. I'm trying to find the proper scores.
So that's all I have for that one.
For that game?
Okay,
well then we'll go on to the last game of the week.
This is now
Toronto
this
Argonauts.
one. I will say this is the one that I thought was going to be the closest.
It's funny. I knew this.
I wrong?
I thought this was going to be close. I thought the Saskatchewan Edmonton one would be closer, and I was right about that. However, 30-13, Alouettes defeat the Argonauts here. And, it's funny. I actually predicted the Argonauts to win this game, and they did not. I have Scott Scott went 10 for 20. Is that right on yours? As
Correct.
well as Arbuckle going 7 for 13. That'd be 109 yards for Scott and 93 yards for Nick Arbuckle.
And the only thing that confuses me is if Cameron Dukes is going to be your starter, why would you only leave him in for 6 attempts for 51 yards?
Yeah, no, especially in the sense of where it's not like he's a defined starter like Chad Kelly is. This is very much him going in and filling that role because he has to. So I'm a little bit confused that he didn't get more field time. At least more Nick Arbuckle, but it is what it is in that regard. I saw they had on the receiving end. Does Bailey even get a catch this game?
Bailey does not.
I don't know. Yeah, I was gonna say Rasheed Bailey doesn't even get thrown to once.
So rookie Kevin Middell.
Yep, Middell.
He went 3 for 3 for 37 yards, and that's their highest yard receiver.
You have that? Interesting.
I have that.
I have Rambo went 4 for 71 yards. On mine.
Rambo?
Yeah.
There's not even
Charleston
anyone named
Rambo. Or wait a minute. Am I looking at the Alouette side of things? I think I'm looking at the.
Yeah, you are looking at the Alouette side of things.
Yep. Okay. No, I was on the wrong page. No, I was confused. I was like, wait, what the hell? But then Julian Grant would go 2 for 62 for the Alouettes with a touchdown. So pretty decent in that regard. Cody Fajardo, 7 for 8 though, 107 yards. Pretty good. I mean, not much you can complain with there. Caleb Evans went 10 for 15, 94 yards. And then 10 for 12 for Alexander for 89 yards. So good completion rate for your quarterbacks this game. Although not a ton in the rushing department for the Alouettes.
The only thing that really stood out for me is besides 4 receivers, anyone else had 17 yards or under for yards other than those top 4 receivers.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest problems here for the Argonauts is that they went down by 7 going into halftime. And so this is when you got to rally the troops, you got to get going, you got to fight your way back into the game. And they score nothing. The Alouettes shut out the Argonauts in the entire second half of this game, picking up 3 points for themselves in the third and getting themselves a touchdown and conversion in the fourth quarter. So it's one of those things where if you're the Toronto Argonauts, I hope a guy like Rasheed Bailey, good luck in this and that. However, if the playing half the game left Winnipeg with them, I would be okay with that. And it seems like that's maybe what happened, as it looks like the Argonauts showed up for half the game and just did not show up for the second half. So, overall, not much to say about that.
I will say to watch out for later on this week for our preview of week 3, the final week, because Saturday at midnight is final cuts. So, I want to assume, bearing Carter's schedule, we'll be recording that Thursday night, because Thursday, all of the depth charts for the last games on Friday will be out. It will be BC's home opener against Edmonton, Winnipeg's home opener preseason against Calgary, Ottawa's home opener against Montreal, and Toronto against Hamilton and Guelph.
That is right. And then, although we will have more stuff to talk about when it comes to regular season, just a few updates and just kind of the state of the league, especially when it comes to home opener BC with a massive announcement. But we will talk about that in our next video coming out. So make sure you guys check that out. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe if you have not already. And we will see you guys next time.
Peace.
Touchdown!